American reacts to Germany's Recon car, the Leichter Panzerspähwagen, or something close to that. Let's take a look. Willkommen. My name is Sean Huggins, and this is React with Hugs. Let's hop straight into today's reaction. All right, today we're back with Johnny Johnson, and we're learning about Germany's Recon car from, I'm assuming, World War II era. Should be interesting. I like learning about German history, obviously, and especially World War II era because it's very fascinating. So let's waste no time. Los geht's.
Panzer!
Ooh, what is this movie? Whoa.
The Leichter Panzerspähwagen, or light armored reconnaissance vehicle. Four versions of this vehicle were produced by Nazi Germany from 1935 to 1944, with around 2,400 units built. The vehicles are easy to distinguish by their significant use of sloped armor. Today, very few authentic examples of the car exist, but the vehicle has still been made famous in the movies by several mock-ups. Usually these vehicles are trucks or Range Rovers with angled plates attached. The more authentic-looking mock-ups attempt to move the engine towards the rear and place the driver more forward, as the authentic cars had rear-mounted engines on all variants. These armored cars in the movies are sometimes shown in the thick of action, charging head-on into battle. In reality, these vehicles are meant as scout and reconnaissance vehicles, with their armaments used more defensively. These vehicles are designed to scout out ahead of an army and report back the position and strength of enemy forces.
Dude, what is this? Are these trains on wheels? What the frick? You see this? Are you guys seeing this? What is this? It's like trains on wheels. Oh my god, look at this guy with the giant bike. Look how big the bike is, like 2 meters tall. The bike wheel is like 2 meters tall. Dude, what is happening in this video? We got the armored scout vehicle here, which is very cool looking. It looks like something out of GTA or something. I don't even know. But then we got, it's like trains on wheels. Look at this, like steam powered trains on wheels. And then this guy on one of those giant bikes with one gigantic wheel and one tiny wheel. Wow, so many things happening in one little video.
Underscoring the importance of avoiding direct combat is the wafer-thin armor of the vehicle. Armor ranged from 5mm to its thickest at the front at 8mm. This armor, though sloped, was still thin enough that at close ranges, it could be penetrated by rifle rounds.
I feel like 8mm is not very thick armor. Maybe I just don't know anything about armored vehicles. Actually, that's definitely the case. I definitely don't know anything about armored vehicles, but I don't know. I feel like as somebody that doesn't know anything about armored vehicles, I feel like 8mm of armor is not a lot. I would be kind of scared in this thing, going up and trying to like see what the enemy is doing and then driving away real quick because then you don't have any protection.
In 1939, the frontal armor was upgraded to 14.5mm.
Okay.
With some later war versions receiving 30mm of frontal armor.
Dang.
Thin armor has several advantages for a scout car. Firstly, it made production quicker and less expensive. Even the turret top had two folding wire mesh panels over conventional armor. These were to prevent enemy grenades from entering the vehicle, with the obvious hope the grenades bounced off the mesh.
Dude, these movies that are kind of trying to recreate it seem to be doing a pretty good job of getting some of the details, maybe not all the details altogether, in one video, but like you could see a lot of what seems to be a lot of the details in these movie clips from people recreating these vehicles that are apparently hard to find, you know, genuine videos of. Pretty cool.
Thin armor also made the vehicle light, essential for the small engine. The 222 version, that's the one with the cannon, weighs 4,000 kilograms or 8,800 pounds. About half the weight of an American Greyhound armored car.
I almost feel like if it's a scout vehicle, then wouldn't you want to not put the engine in the back because you're going to be running away from the bulk of the action? So you put the engine in the front and a lot of armor in the back so you can drive away safely. But then again, not an armored car expert. That's just my first thought.
The rear-mounted petrol engine was originally a 3.5-liter V8, producing 74 horsepower.
What game is this?
From 1942 onwards, this was replaced by a 3.8-liter, producing 89 horsepower, giving it a road speed of 80 kilometers an hour.
89 horsepower. That's as much as my Opel Zafira.
Or 50 miles per hour, with speeds about half that cross-country. The vehicle had a maximum range of 300 kilometers, or 186 miles. Armament for the first variant, the 221, was a 7.92mm MG-13 machine gun, which in 1938 was replaced by the more recognizable MG-34. The gunner had access to 1,200 rounds. The vehicle was crewed by two, with the commander acting as the gunner, and the driver sitting in front of him. Production of the 221 ran from 1935 to 1940, with some 339 units produced. Originally, these vehicles had no radios, but as they became obsolete during the war, they would be heavily modified, some acting as command cars with different radios installed. In 1941, a small short-range radio could be installed in every variant of the car, though with a short range of about 1 kilometer. Some 221's car.
Look at this. Hold on a second. Look at this. It kind of looks a little bit like a Cybertruck. Did Germany do it first? Did Germany do the Cybertruck first? Interesting.
Some 221s were further upgunned with a 2.8.
Tell me this isn't a Cybertruck right here. Tell me these aren't Cybertrucks. Elon Musk definitely had some inspiration from these things, for sure.
In a modified turret. The 222 variant had a larger turret and mounted a 2-centimeter KWK-30 or KWK-38 autocannon found on Panzer IIs. The autocannon was mounted along with an MG-13 or MG-34 machine gun. This larger variant now crewed 3 men. Production of the 222 ran from 1937 to 1943, with at least 990 units produced.
Toot your tutors, if you understand.
Yo, what? What is this? Dude, an army of train cars. What are these? Train tractor cars, like what?
Understand.
The 223 variant was armed with just a machine gun, either an MG-13 or MG-34. But instead of a cannon, the vehicle used its limited space for radio equipment. These vehicles are easy to recognize by the large bed frame antenna mounted over the vehicle. At least 567 223s were produced. The 260-261 variant...
Wow, so this thing around the top is an antenna? What?
...variant mounted no machine guns and was used exclusively for signals use. These also used a large bed frame style antenna over the vehicle. The 260 variant was equipped to communicate via radio with aircraft, and the 261 to communicate with ground units.
Whoa, okay, so they could talk to aircraft with these things. Okay, that's kind of crazy. Also, look at this. Tesla logo here. I mean, dude. Cybertruck. The original Cybertruck right here. There's a Tesla logo and everything. Dude, conspiracy theory? Elon Musk, time traveler? Conspiracy theory?
At least
confirmed.
483 of this variant were produced. The turret for the vehicle is unusual in that it directly sits on the gun mount. As such, there is no bearing ring or turret basket. Rather than the gun traversing with the turret is rotated by traversing the gun. The breeches took up a lot of room in the turret, but the gun mount did allow for good elevation of the guns, suitable for anti-aircraft fire. There were also vision slots on the sides of the turret to allow the commander and/or gunner to observe his surroundings with some protection. The crew could enter and exit through the open top of the turret, though the turret was cramped. There is further 2 large hatches in the lower section of the hull. Early in the war, armored cars were assigned to panzer, motorized, and regular infantry divisions. However, they are rare amongst all but panzer divisions. A panzer division tank reconnaissance battalion could field up to 90 armored cars, divided into 2 armored car companies. These armored cars were present for all of Germany's early successes, including the annexation of Austria and the German occupation of Czechoslovakia. The vehicles first engaged in combat in Poland in 1939. Here, during the first year of the war, the armored car would experience its first glaring shortcomings. Notably the armor, which was easily penetrated by Polish anti-tank guns.
Well, of course. If you don't have any armor, of course it's going to be penetrated. With no armor, you're basically the homecoming queen on prom night.
Continued to see use in the invasion of Denmark and Norway. Then in May of 1940, a few hundred took part in the invasion of France, where they were better put to use aiding tanks in the rapid mobile warfare that would define Germany's victory over France.
So they were more for supporting the tanks. That makes more sense.
During the invasion of the Soviet Union, this German armored car in all variants struggled. Though the vehicle was four-wheel drive, its off-road performance was weak compared to other German light armored vehicles equipped with tracks. Tracks became essential for cross-country operations in the muddy conditions of the East. The Soviets also used anti-tank guns in greater numbers than any other nation, which made short work of armored cars. At the introduction of the 221 in 1935, the car would seemingly make a good all-round scout car. By 1940, the car's engine was lacking in power, the armor was too thin, the off-road performance was meager. But it was still a purpose-built and reliable tool if used within its limitations. Germany struggled with mechanization for the entire war, and always found a purpose for this 4x4 light armored car. One strength of these light armored cars is that they were part of the Wehrmacht's new program to standardize production that would see some 60,000 four-wheel drive vehicles built on uniform chassis.
Oh, okay, here's one of the radio ones. This radio one also has a machine gun mounted to it. I thought that he said that typically the ones with the radios don't have machine guns on them as well. Interesting. That's crazy how this frame up here is an antenna. Like, I mean, I don't know much of anything about how anything works, but it's weird because I've only ever seen antennas that are like straight, like a straight pole, I feel like. And this is like looks like a bed frame or something. I don't even know.
Before 1936, the majority of Wehrmacht cars were militarized civilian cars that were both expensive to produce and unfit for wartime service. These light armored reconnaissance vehicles were part of this first and semi-successful German attempt to standardize military vehicle production, and overall were a good initial product. Even China purchased a handful from Germany in the 1930s for use against Japan. Furthermore, the car helped prove the effectiveness of angled armor.
Wait a minute. Hold on a second. China bought some from Germany for use against Japan, who became Germany's ally. Wow, very interesting information here. I never really noticed this vehicle in World War II movies or shows that I've seen. Maybe I did, but I just never really paid attention to it. I'm not sure. I don't remember, but oh yeah, it looks like this was in Band of Brothers. I definitely watched Band of Brothers for sure. Love Band of Brothers, so I definitely saw this before. I just never really paid attention to it, and I never realized how specialized it was, how it was used for radio and recon and stuff like that. Very interesting. Fun to learn about, indeed. Also, fun to learn that Elon Musk is a time traveler and took inspiration from this to build the Cybertruck, and we can even see that the Tesla logo showed up on these vehicles dating back all the way into the 1940s, 1930s, which is also fascinating stuff. And I think that Reddit should take this conspiracy theory and do some more research and prove it correct. And then my job here will be done. But I'm curious what you guys, the experts, have to say about it. So as always, leave your mustard down in the comments section below. When you're done there, check out madewithhugs.com for merch and more content. Thank you guys so much for being here. And as always, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.